Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Wealth, your investing channel to help you make more money, help you keep more money, and then use that money to enjoy more life. Mikey, welcome back. How's it going, brother?
It's going pretty good. We got another good week of stuff going on. There's a bunch of different charts I'm watching. I've got my new sweet shirt on, and we're ready to
Yeah,
go.
we're going to be hodling. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Yeah, so we got a good amount of things to talk about today. Like always, we're going to go over the market overview. Mikey's going to share some charts about Bitcoin demand. We're going to continue to talk about the inflows of the ETFs, what Mikey's seeing on the charts, using some of his technical analysis wizardry of helping us determine when to get in and when to get out of different projects. Microstrategy, we've been talking about that over the last bunch of weeks. This one actually went the other way. So we had some red on MicroStrategy. So it was interesting how Bitcoin continued to move, but MicroStrategy turned the other way, and there's reasons for that. Solana's one we've been talking about a bunch over the last couple months that has been making us extra happy over the last bunch. So we'll talk about that. Sam Bankman-Freid, we haven't mentioned that name in a while. So there's some news around him and his sentencing. And we're going to jump into a little bit of AI. And we had some questions from the community. We'll see if we can reserve some time at the end to answer those questions. So let's get started. So yeah, I'm going to go through a quick market overview here, and then we'll run from there. All right, thumbs up, Mikey. You see my
Yeah, we
screen?
can see it. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So markets actually moved pretty good. So we start out with cryptos. Bitcoin over the last week up 7.8%. So big week. Ethereum pretty close to that as well. Usually Bitcoin has outpaced Ethereum over the last little bit, but this is pretty close. And then your friend and mine, good old Solana here, plus 13%. So we've noticed this one outperform a lot of the other cryptos over the last bunch. Crypto market cap up a little bit. So we're at 2.8 trillion now. Not too long ago, we were at 1 trillion. So this is continues to move up. I know Mikey keeps a closer eye on stocks than me. If you wanted to just pop on here and share a little bit about what you see here. So we get to see some green, we see some red.
Yeah, so the market hit another all-time high again. I mean, everyone keeps trying to call a top on this thing. And I saw an interview with Larry Fink recently, and people said, are we going to have a crash? Is the market hitting a top? And he very calmly answered, I don't think so.
Okay.
And beyond some black swan event, I mean, the good companies are going to do well. What have we been talking about? We've been talking about how Google and Amazon and a lot of these companies
Yeah.
have been outperforming other ones. So you do have to own the right stocks.
Yep.
And this screener, if you go on a monthly view or something like that, it'll help you see what the best performing ones are.
Yeah, exactly. So this is over the last week. And another tool that we rave about here is called Banter Bubbles. So this one helps us understand where the narrative is. And the bigger the bubbles, the bigger the green means those ones went up the most. So there's some familiar ones on here. We see the biggest bubble being WIF. We'll be talking about some meme coins a little
Such a
on the.
stupid meme coins, I
Oh,
think.
it's stupid because you don't own it. I'm really enjoying it.
The dog, it's got a picture of a dog with a hat on. Like it's
It's
ridiculous.
literally WIF is dog with hat. So like them or not, they're going up. So Pepe is another meme coin, Bonk's another meme coin. So this just tells us that the narrative over the last week was mostly around meme coins. We see Jupiter, and we're going to talk. Mikey's going to bring up a chart on Jupiter. This is in the Solana ecosystem. Floki is another meme coin. Any other ones on here that jump out at you? There's Solana 12.9. ICP is an AI play. We're going to talk a little bit more about. You own Sui. Do you still own Sui and Near?
I have near Sui I got rid of because it was underperforming. So that one's doing well without me
Yeah, it always happens, huh?
now.
That's happened to me a bunch too. But yeah, there was an AI conference recently, NVIDIA conference, and leading up to the conference, during the conference and even after the conference. Some AI coins ran, and Near is I believe an AI play as well.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other ones in here that moved as well. I know you and I both own Render, RNDR. So anyways, I just want to show you guys this tool. And oh, IMX, yeah, that's gaming, which I think is going to do very, very well. Fear and Greed Index 75. So this one we've seen bouncing around between 70-ish to usually 85-ish. We've oh, did we got last week here? Yeah, last week 74. So we're kind of hanging around where we were last week as well. Alt season, not really alt season yet. I know I've started to nibble at some altcoins, but yeah, based on this, we're kind of in the middle here. So we'll kind of see how this plays out over the next bunch of weeks leading into the Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin ETFs. So this is one that we track pretty closely since the launch. So this is basically the inflows into the new Bitcoin ETFs, and it just keeps going up. Well, past 14 days, it went down slightly, but over the last month, it's gone up significantly. So we're at 4.23% of the Bitcoin supply. Over 12 billion now have gone into these Bitcoin ETFs, which is massive. We'll scroll down here a bit just to see kind of the charts over here. So here's the last week. Still net inflows, but not as much as inflows here from a couple weeks ago. But as you can see here on the bottom here is Grayscale. These are people selling out of Grayscale and more than likely buying into some of the other ETFs that are on the top here. So if these are daily. So if I just kind of hover over each bar, those are each day. So you can see there a big outflow of Grayscale, which has been consistent over the last couple months. But all in all, the minus 299 of Grayscale was more than made up by pretty much just BlackRock itself. But adding in all the other ETFs, there's a total of 240 billion, no, 239 million dollars. So we talk a lot about supply and demand on here of Bitcoin. And when there's a lot more supply, a lot more demand than there is supply, that means number goes up. So any comments here from you, Mikey, around Bitcoin inflows?
No, I mean, the only one commentary, I was talking to a friend about it recently. Van Eck is actually one of the ETFs there in baby blue there.
Yeah.
And they're actually the one that went on CBC a week or two ago and said they're doing 0% commission fees. So a lot
Yeah.
of these ones are doing 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, meaning they're going to take some of your money in order for you to be in that ETF, basically.
Yeah.
Van doing 0%. They're not getting that much traffic yet, though, and it's a bit surprising because it's basically free.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure they've had a little bit of a bump, but well, look at that, 18 million on that day. So if we actually
Yeah,
started tracking, you know, since they made that announcement,
I just look
right?
at the colors and it looks like the yellow, the green, and the black are leading
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah. So that's that. We haven't really mentioned this too much on here, but there's even demand outside of the ETFs as well. There's this guy that they call him Mr. 100. He's been consistently buying 100 Bitcoin nearly every day since February 14th. So there's entities that are buying it, there's companies that are buying it, there's the demand through ETFs. So it's in a lot of places. And the Bitcoin halving, 21 days away. So what happens during the halving, Mikey? Real quick for people that are new listeners.
Yeah, so I mean, basically every 4 years for the past like 16 years since it was created, they have a certain amount that gets released every day of new Bitcoins for miners to earn. And this was around probably 1600 or 1700 back in 2020. Then it went down to 850, and now it's going to go to 400 and change
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
So the amount of new Bitcoins coming in is going to be less and less and less. And that means when they cut it in half, you're going to have to buy Bitcoins from people. And like I said, it's kind of like the Sony PlayStation not being on the store shelf anymore. Now you got to buy it from me or Mike or your buddy, and we're
Yeah.
not going to give you our
Right.
PlayStation
And
because we
what's
like.
Mikey doing? Look at Mikey's shirt. Is he going to be selling it to you?
That's the thing, right?
That's
So,
hodl. Yeah.
hodl, hold on for dear life, right? So, um, it's hard to get a desired asset from someone. If someone has a new PlayStation, they're not going to sell it to you. They want it. You might
Yeah.
even be able to offer them double the money and they won't sell it to you if
Yeah.
it's not on the shelf. So,
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult. And this happened in a lot of things. When I remember when the Corvette had a mid-engine, and that happened 2, 3 years ago during the pandemic. For the
Yeah.
first time, they had the Ferrari style engine behind your head, and it was a centered engine, mid-engine. And when those came out, you couldn't get them. They were pre-ordered, and if you pre-ordered it, you got one, and it was hard to even pre-order it. One of my relatives bought one. They ended up flipping it for like a 20 or 30% profit the day they got it.
Yeah.
And that's supply and demand. If there's a lot of demand and not much supply,
Yeah.
you have to pay me more than you thought it was worth.
And this is one of the big reasons why Mikey and I are really, really bullish right now. You got to just follow the flows, follow the money. If there's more money coming into something, that means there's more demand. And if there's less supply and increasing demand, it just has to go up. It's just it's just supply and demand. That's how it works. So that's cool. I always forget to throw this in here. If you're new here, like and subscribe. If you like the content, feel free to share it. If you have any comments or questions, toss them in below. We read them all. Also, disclaimer, just two dudes on the internet sharing our opinions. Everything we share here is not financial advice. Mikey and I listen to a lot of podcasts. We read a lot. We take it all in. Him and I chat a bunch. We have different views on we have different investing strategies. You take it all in and you make your own decisions. So just what we say here, just don't go by based on what we share.
I wanted to just add to our comment about Bitcoin. Like, it's not just Bitcoin. Like, I'm very into collectibles, and there's old guitars that are rare and sought after.
Yeah.
There's like a 64 Dan Electro, which is very sought after as a guitar, but it's from 1964. So, however many exist from 1964, there's a bunch of musicians that are playing them on tour and beating the hell out of them. So there's
Yeah.
less and less Dan Electro guitars as time goes forward, or rookie cards. People lose them and do things. And the more rare they become, if they're very sought after, like a rookie card or a rare guitar, and there's less of them, you pay more. And
Yeah.
so it's not just Bitcoin, it could be your Corvette, it could be your guitar, it could be a collectible, it could be whatever it is.
How about the US dollar? Is that rare and sought
That's
after?
becoming less and less rare. They keep printing that thing. It'd be like printing
So
Michael
it's
Jordan
not
rookie
rare.
cards. Like, imagine we were printing rookie cards or something. They'd
Yeah.
be not valuable at all, right? So
Yeah.
the US dollar is just draining its value. And I posted a meme this week showing a lady in the 80s with her shopping cart full of groceries, and it says, here's this lady going home with $20 worth of groceries to her $15,000 home. Like, now that'd be like $500 of groceries and a $500,000 home.
Yeah.
And it's the more money you print, the more of those worthless dollars you have to give for your groceries and your home. That's the whole point of that meme.
Yeah.
And the value of the dollar has been just dropping and dropping and dropping for decades, and it is going to the floor.
Yeah. For sure. And this is one of the reasons why we like Bitcoin and we like crypto, because the supply is limited. There isn't an unlimited ceiling like there is in the fiat currency where they can just print more money. So this is one of the big reasons why I kind of started down this path a bunch of
Also,
years ago.
too, for the listeners, I'm not just picking on the US dollar. I mean, Justin Trudeau's printing money like a sailor. Europe's printing money like sailors. Japan's debt to GDP, I think, is over 200%. This is a global issue, and you have to give up more of your currency to buy things. And places
Yeah.
like Turkey and Argentina that are more corrupt, in my opinion, they had inflation of over 100%. They're really devaluing the dollar. So this is a big problem.
They're not printing money like Michael Saylor though, right? His
No.
balance sheet's going every time Bitcoin goes up. So we'll talk a little bit about MicroStrategy. Did you want to hop in to bring up a Bitcoin chart? You wanted to show us a pattern that you see on there.
Yeah, we can check that out. So I'm very big on chart analysis. That's my favorite and probably my greatest skill set. Obviously,
Charts
I use a lot
matter.
of, yeah, charts do matter. And I use a lot of strategy and fundamentals, but I mean, adding chart analysis is just another layer, right? So, if you've been following my group and if you've been following us here, we've been quite bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm going to just get rid of the current action. You'll remember back here in recent weeks, I was pointing out this upside down head and shoulders pattern. Okay, now this is the 2 hour chart. On the 1 or 2 hour chart, you see that each candle represents 1 hour, or in this case, 2 hours, and you get more detail out of it, kind of like zooming in with your binoculars.
Yeah,
So when you do that, you're able to see this pattern. If we were on the daily chart, you wouldn't be able to see it. But when you zoom in and each candle is only 1 or 2 hours, you get more data and more patterns. And Mike, you'll remember this. I mean, I was pointing out, I don't know if this was 2 weeks ago or whatever, that we were right here forming the right shoulder here, probably a few weeks ago.
yeah,
And then we predicted that we would have a Bitcoin breakout and that we would complete this head and shoulder pattern. Well, look what happened. We broke out, right? We completed the rest of the right shoulder here and we had a breakout here. And that's when everyone got happy. We made money on Monday last week.
look at that.
Um,
Right at the breakout point there. That's when it shot right up. Look at the volume.
right
Look at that
there.
massive green bar right there.
Right there. Now, again, this is what we're doing in the training course, and this is what Mike and me talk about all the time. The patterns don't always work 100% of the time,
Yeah,
but look how often they are when I point these things out. I was literally warning people, hey, we're forming part of the right shoulder. Hey, we're forming the other part of the right shoulder. Hey, we're breaking out. And
yeah,
that's something we were talking about in advance of the movement, not after the fact. So right here, you can see we had a big green candle when we broke out because usually people will set little triggers at this red line because they're watching these patterns or they're watching these resistance levels and they have automatic purchases happening at these levels. So it's not just Mike watching this stuff. There's a lot of smart people and computer programs and algorithms that are doing it. And
yeah,
you'll also remember that when it broke out, then a week or two ago, we said, hey, we're probably going to do a drop after the breakout to retest the breakout, right? We predicted that we would do a drop to retest. Well, look right here. Look where I just drew my arrow. We
yeah,
dropped in price after the breakout and it bounced off of our red line again. That proves that it's a real breakout and investors are willing to pay that much or more for Bitcoin. So it
yeah,
held the support. Okay. So when we were underneath it, it was resistance. We broke up and then we came down and hit it and it became support. And that's a really bullish indication. So why am I pointing this out? Because we had a inverse head and shoulders pattern after a big drop in Bitcoin there, right? We had a big bull rally that dropped off. We got a bottoming pattern. Well, look what we have now after the breakout and the drop to retest. Here's some chart analysis on your screen again here. I've been tracking this all week, and me and Mike Sheffer, we've been looking at this a lot. I've been posting it in my Invest Like Mike group,
yeah,
and when this was happening, like on Thursday or whatever, I sent a message to Mike and I said, "Hey, look, just like back over here with the big one that we did over there, I was warning about a right shoulder coming. Well, I was warning about the right shoulder coming again because look, you have a left shoulder here, you have the head here, and we had the beginning of what I thought could be a right shoulder. And right here, I think this weekend we're going to drop a little more, take support, and then we're going to turn around and form the right shoulder. And that's what we're doing right now. We're going
yeah,
and we're forming the rest of that right shoulder now. So, you
yeah,
know, it's not that I just get lucky with these things. I mean, you see two inverse head and shoulders patterns on your screen right now. And
yeah,
I was talking about both of them in advance that
yeah,
they were going to, create a right shoulder. So hopefully people are gaining insights here and seeing that although it might not work 100% of the time, there's some value here. And I'm seeing two bottoming patterns in a row The first one broke out to the upside. The second one, I think, is going to break out to the upside as well. We're going to go into the mid or high 70s here, I think, soon. And what did Mike just show us again and remind us of? We've got the Bitcoin halving coming in 21 days in April. Tomorrow is April 1st. So,
Yeah.
just hodl. I think we're really early in this cycle. We follow a man named Raoul Pal, one of our favorite analysts. And as he always says, don't F this up, just hold it.
Yeah.
And, we have people, Mike told me, he's talking to people that have made some money on cryptos and they're saying they're going to take profits this summer. That's a tendency someone has when something just crashed a year or two ago and they want to make sure they get their money out and avoid that crash. Well, if
Yeah.
you get out too early, you can avoid the crash, but you might be getting out too early. I know a friend that sold all his stocks in 2016 because he feared Trump. The market never went higher than it did during Trump. And then Biden brought it even higher. And
Yeah.
he missed out on all those gains because he feared the 2008 crash. So be careful with your strategy out there, folks.
Yeah. And even before we hopped on, we were chatting about people having PTSD from the previous bear market. So they may have bought in at a certain point and then it crashed. And then that created something in their mind of, oh shit, like I'm at break even point now. I'm just going to get out now. I don't understand this stuff. I'm done. So people still have that mentality that we're just going to go down again. But we can also continue to go up here. We're not very far off of all-time highs with Bitcoin. I think we're only I think we got up to like 74,000. So we're actually kind of close.
Yeah.
And when it shoots through all-time high, then it's green territory up there. And Mikey mentioned in there about like us kind of getting lucky. We get that a lot. And him and I, like we chuckle some because uh, sometimes like you can see that from the outside. Mikey's drawing all this chart, just these lines on charts, and some listeners, you might just kind of be thinking, what is all this jargon, right? But there's fundamental analysis and there's technical analysis. And when you're able to kind of merge those, you can use technical analysis to help you time your entries and help you time your exits where you're going to lock in profits. So, and we're going to talk more about how do we lock in, like where we're buying, where we're selling, different narratives. We're going to do separate videos on all those things as well. But yeah, if you like the content, make sure that you subscribe. And yeah, Mikey's actually hosting a couple courses coming up, one online in April, and
Yeah,
then
next week.
another one in Mexico. Him and I and a bunch of people are heading down to Mexico, and we're gonna be together live for this. We're gonna enjoy some tacos and have some fun, and we're gonna learn how to make more money. So I'm super pumped about that. And you can hop on. We'll share more details about that stuff a little later. Um, MicroStrategy. Nice segue into MicroStrategy. So I mentioned this before. MicroStrategy is a proxy into Bitcoin, and you're able to buy MicroStrategy. It's actually a stock that you use your stock trading account to buy. So this one has done remarkably well. I played the stock. I've been in it for a while, and I have an extra big smile on my face because I got in a while ago. And Mikey's been playing the options. So it's kind of a leveraged way to play Bitcoin. So there was actually a big drop, a big 1 day drop. What happened, Mikey? Why do you think we pulled back so heavy, even though Bitcoin went up?
Yeah, so I mean, Bitcoin is doing well. I just showed you the chart pattern there, and it's set up to go higher, and it's even been going higher this week, generally speaking. And this is the aspect where you want to, we always talk about being diversified, and we own a bunch of cryptos, right? We don't just own MicroStrategy. I own Marathon Digital Holdings, even in the stock market. I own Riot Platforms. I've been in Coinbase. It's not just MicroStrategy. And, if you're Michael Saylor, you own all MicroStrategy, right? So he actually is less diversified and he owns only Bitcoin and only MicroStrategy. So this week, Bitcoin was going up the other day on Thursday, I believe it was, or Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm sending messages to Mike G over here, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like my MicroStrategy keeps going down, right? And he owns MicroStrategy, and I was frustrated because I'm watching the charts, and the charts were like bleeding red. And then I'm flipping to the Bitcoin chart and they're charging higher green. I'm like, this makes no freaking sense. And sometimes you don't get the news right away. And eventually that morning, we found out that someone started hating on MicroStrategy and scaring the crap out of the investors. And investors were selling their MicroStrategy while Bitcoin was going up. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where you could have the best bullish case ever, and then something weird and unexpected happens. And you'll see here MicroStrategy slumps 14% after a short seller says the stock trades at an unjustifiable premium to Bitcoin. Now, think about the irony of this. Someone who is short MicroStrategy, who is super biased and hates MicroStrategy, releases a report saying it's overvalued. And then a bunch of people get scared and dump it off. It's so silly. Like, it'd be like Mike Tyson when he fought Evander Holyfield. If you had, someone come out from Evander Holyfield's camp and say, Mike Tyson sucks and we're going to knock him out. And then people start betting against Mike Tyson. That doesn't make sense to me. And it's a biased view. But basically, what they said was MicroStrategy is overinflated and Bitcoin would have to go to $177,000 for it to be at the fair value for MicroStrategy. So what they're saying is MicroStrategy is trading right now at a value that would only be justified if Bitcoin was double or more its current value. So MicroStrategy is more than double overvalued. It should go down by half, right?
Yeah.
And we went down 14, 15% in a day. And if you go to the MicroStrategy chart here and you hover over the candle, you'll see it shrunk a little bit. We went down a little over 11% for the day, but you'll see it was a dip. But if you really look at it, it went up so much first,
Yeah.
and then it only dipped that much so far. Now, maybe we keep dipping. I can't say that we won't. And you'll remember that a week or two ago, I was showing this, Mike. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we were predicting a wave 5. Well, we kind of got the wave 5. Maybe it's being cut short. I don't know. Maybe we keep dipping a little bit
Yeah.
short term. But here's one thing I want to point out. I mean, long term, it can still keep going higher. This is a daily chart, and
Ooh,
I'm
look
going
at
to
that
show you
sugar.
what
Oof.
each candle is one day. Okay, so look at the rally from 2020 and 2021. Okay, um, it just kind of kept going up for you until the Bitcoin rally was over because all these people hold is Bitcoin. So you see all these little zigzags where it kept zigzagging higher, and you just see it keep zigzagging higher until Bitcoin peaked. So, I think it can still keep going higher personally. If I get rid of some of this data here, let's get the ruler out. So the Bitcoin halving was right around here. And, at a certain point right here, it was already up 232%. This is after the halving, okay, 232%. And it was overvalued probably compared to the Bitcoin price as well. You know
Yeah.
why? Because people trust buying the stock MicroStrategy more than having a Coinbase account and buying cryptos. They
And
don't
it's easier
trust
to
that.
buy.
It's easy. You already have money in your stock market account. You
Yeah.
just buy this. Well,
Yeah.
look how much more it went up. So it went up 232% here. And then it still went up another 260% from there. Because
Yeah.
why? Because Bitcoin kept doubling in value over and over again.
Yeah. And
So,
Mikey's talking about like what he's showing you was what happened during the last Bitcoin halving. So there's a cycle that happens every 4 years where there's
yeah,
this halving, and we're just using the past to help to predict the future. So you saw Bitcoin run up, you saw MicroStrategy run up leading up to the halving, and then you can see post halving what each continue to do. So will it continue up? Maybe, maybe not. But from our analysis, we are very bullish with the money coming in, and we're very bullish at what happened in previous cycles. We hear often on a lot of the podcasts we listen to, this time is different. And it's clearly different because the Bitcoin ETF got approved this year. And it's obvious there's been a lot more inflows, a lot more purchases of Bitcoin. So of course this year, this halving cycle is different. So we think it can go up a similar amount as last time, and then some, because the faucet is turned on with constant inflows of people buying these ETFs.
The other
So
thing to mention too, like it's not like this is brand new reports or brand new news. People have been pointing out the disparity between Bitcoin price and MicroStrategy and the miners for like years. They were saying this in 2020. It's just, it's the reason why it's not that it's overvalued, it's that people are choosing to buy the stocks more than they're buying real Bitcoin because
yeah,
they trust their JP Morgan account, they trust their Interactive Brokers account, and they already have money there. They don't have to set up some weird account on a new website. So there's more demand for the stocks than there is for Bitcoin. It's not that it's overvalued. If there's more people that want to buy it, the value is therefore higher. That's just the way it is.
yeah,
If you have two auction houses and they're both auctioning Michael Jordan rookie cards, but one of them has more people in attendance, that rookie card's going to sell for more money because there's more people bidding on it. That's all this is. So unless you believe that all these people are going to open up Coinbase accounts and buy real Bitcoin instead, they're not. They're going to keep buying MicroStrategy and other stuff like BlackRock. So,
good.
I
Keep buying.
mean, good luck making Larry Fink open up a Coinbase account. He's not doing it. So, like, give it
Freaking
up,
think.
right? Like, so this is no news. This is no news. We've known this difference forever, and some biased short seller has pointed it out for the 100th time. That's
Yeah.
the
So
way I'm
what's good
looking at
here
it.
is, if there's things that you believe in, you look for these dips. It's called sniping. You have your orders in. Mikey's sharing this stuff with me. And like I said earlier, Mikey and I, we have different time frames with our investing. Mikey's a little bit more shorter term because he owns some options. I'm a little bit longer term. I already own a good amount of MicroStrategy, but this gives me an opportunity to buy things at a cheaper amount, and it's called layering in as we go up. So that's fine. It sells off. Longer term, I even told Mikey, I'm like, where do I think it'll be 3 months from now, 6 months from now? I think it'll still be a good amount higher from here. So these little hiccups, these 15, these 20, 25% dips, good. I just get, another handful cheaper. So just use that example with other stocks and options and cryptos. We're going to, and especially with cryptos, we're going to have these 30, 35% dips. If you believe in cryptos, if you believe in the projects you're in, it's a sale. People they line up for Boxing Day sales for hours. Yet when there's a sale in the markets, people are like, oh, I don't know, is this it? Like, is crypto dead? No, crypto just went up 250%. 30, 35, 40% dips. They hurt, obviously, depending where you got in. But will you look back on this 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now and like, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? So
Another thing to remember too is that we typically rally leading up to the halving. I've shown you the Bitcoin chart setup. It's set up to rally again. And if Bitcoin goes to 80 or 90,000, not only do we rally to the halving, we often rally for 1 or 2 or 3 months after the halving too. And there'll be dips along the way, but there's rallying happening, right? So
yeah,
if Bitcoin goes to 80, 90, or 100,000, that's all MicroStrategy owns, and you're going to have investors seeing Bitcoin go up and saying, holy crap, I'm not going to open a Coinbase account. I'm going to just buy more MicroStrategy or more BlackRock.
yep,
And I expect them to keep buying these things. So
yeah,
that's just the
cool.
way it is.
Okay, so that's that. Let's hop into Solana. So Solana is another layer one crypto coin that we've been talking about aggressively over the last at least 5 months. And it has had a remarkable run up. It's gone up a bunch. It's pulled back a bunch. And over the last week, as I showed earlier in the video, it's also gone up a bunch again. So again, buying opportunities. You want to bring up a chart of Solana, and you can show us Solana, and then there's coins within the Solana ecosystem. So when Solana runs, those run as well, which Mikey and I own some of the altcoins in the Solana ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, that's been my top pick, and I think Mike G's top pick as well, probably for a long time. We've been getting in that since around $20. And so when I hit $200 recently, we were pretty happy about it, obviously. And, we have a lot of people that are friends of ours or or they're, part of our community and they watch our content and everything. And we've been telling them to buy it the whole time, and some of them took longer. They waited till it was 60 or 80. I had a friend that bought a little over 100, but they're all happy now because now it's around 200, right?
Yeah.
So whether you got in at 20 or 60 or 100, you're probably very happy now. And Solana is one we've been talking about. A lot of our trusted influencers like Raul Powell love it, and it has a lot of promise. It's already a fast crypto. They have another upgraded called Fire Dancer that's coming this year. It's going to make it, I think, the fastest crypto, or definitely one of the fastest cryptos around. And let's go look at the chart here. There's a lot of hype behind this one.
And when you actually use the technologies, when you actually get in and play around and not just buy the coins, like if you actually play around with some of the things, like you can actually see firsthand why things are doing better than other things. And when you start to use Solana a bit, when you start to move money around, when things are fast and they're cheap, and like you can just see how your money's flowing, it's really wild. And then you kind of think about the banking system and how this can severely disrupt those things. There are times where we have to go to the bank to get our money sent to our exchange accounts. And Mikey and I, like, we just curse over here. Like, this sucks. Like, I gotta wait freaking 5 days. I gotta wait this. I've been on hold for 40 minutes. I have to pay $50 for a wire transfer. And like, we just curse at each other. And then we're just like, yeah, yeah. But once you get the money in the system, in crypto or in your exchanges, you can start to move money around super quick. And sometimes it costs you like 14 cents. And it takes like, like a second and a half to get the money around. And you could track it if you wanted to on the blockchain. It's wild.
I want to bring up a good analogy here. I had a discussion about Bitcoin with one of my friends who hates cryptos, thinks they're stupid. And he's calling me lucky, and you're lucky that you're making the money. And then we get into this discussion, and I say, my grandfather probably used to think the internet was stupid, right? And imagine before the internet, you'd have to mail each other letters and you'd handwrite letters, right? Took a while to write the letter and it took weeks to maybe receive the letter, and you had to pay all this postage. And with the creation of the computer, you could now type it on your computer rather quickly and flawlessly. Then you could click a button and the email is instantly on the other end and it's free. Okay. That replaces the mail, right? The mail is so inefficient,
Yeah.
and an email is so efficient and cheap and quick. That's the same thing like between a wire transfer with the bank. It's slow and inefficient. And
Yeah.
sending cryptos, it's quick and cheap and efficient and it's instant.
Yeah.
And I really think that cryptos compared to banking is like email compared to mailing a letter. And it's just a way better technology, and it's not even comparable. It's like comparing an old Toyota to a new Ferrari. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And I really think that's what we're talking about here. So let's look at the Solana chart here.
This is a great chart. Oh, yeah. Look at that. And look at October 2023. Look what it was. It was like, I don't know, $23 in and around that range. And within like 5-ish months, it got up to 200 and I think 218 maybe that the top of that wick was. That's a lot of gains. A lot of gains. So Mikey's going to measure it out here from the bottom. Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Oh, 1000%. That's a lot of you're muted, Mikey. That's a lot of percent.
It's up over 1,000% there. And I mean, again, this is not something we're talking about after the fact. And if you've been following us here, we've been talking about this stuff publicly the whole time. And we were recommending it. I mean, I was recommending it as my top pick since it was $20. And so, it's gone up substantially. And I really think that we're gonna go to who knows here. Like, I mean, I've been saying to people 750 or $1,000 kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And you'll see here that even
And
when it
and we're not even at all-time highs. So during the last cycle, we got even higher than this.
it was around
So
260.
yeah, so we're not even there yet. And we think it's gonna blow past all-time highs and then some.
And you'll notice that when we go up here and then we have a dip like this red candle, it
Yeah.
gets bought right back up.
Yeah.
And then it goes up some more and it dips and it gets bought right back up. It dips, it gets bought right back up. Everyone is buying this.
And those dips can hurt if you're looking at the daily chart. Like
Yeah.
that first red candle dip that he showed, like that's 140 from the top and it went all the way down to like 110-ish. Like that's a 23% move in one day. So again, know your time frame. If you're a short-term trader, yeah, you're in here every day. And I check every day, but I'm not a short-term trader. I'm at a point where 23% don't phase me because
No.
I'm long-term minded and I'm buying along the way. Like I kind of sometimes when I'm working towards getting more money into exchanges, waiting for the bank transfers, I keep telling Mikey, keep the markets down for another bit until the money clears, and then I can pack my bags with more of the projects that I like.
And I want to point something else too here. We have short-term moving averages on the screen, the 5-day and the 10-day, and you'll see they're labeled in blue and baby blue. And then you have this green moving average here. It's the 50-day, and the purple one is the 200. You'll notice that basically there's a couple times where we'll dip down to the 50-day moving average, such as the Bitcoin ETF being announced. Bitcoin fell and they sold the news. As soon as we hit that 50-day, people bought it right back up. Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple times, that's the only time it's done that. Separately from the ETF sell-off, anytime it dips to the short-term moving averages, so you'll see it's above the short-term moving averages, it dips to them, it goes right back up. It
Yeah.
dips to them, it goes back up. And even right now, look, it goes up, it dips to the short term, goes back up. Dips to the short term, goes back up. Short term, goes back up. That shows extremely strong support. And what are we seeing here, Mike? Watch when I label this.
Oh
What are we
yeah,
seeing
here we
here?
go.
What are we seeing here? We're seeing higher highs. Okay. And
So that
we're
helps
making
us
it,
understand the trend.
yeah, we're making a higher high every time. And that would be like a music artist selling more albums every time they release their next album. I mean, they're trending higher for sales and
Yeah.
for
So
revenue.
don't fight
So
the trend. The trend is your friend.
yeah. So right now, I mean, if you want my analysis on this one, I'm going to go to a 4-hour view here just to get a little bit more detail out of it. And there we go. I think that right now we're in the middle of a wave of five. So we had a dip back here. That was that Bitcoin dip that we had there not too long ago. And then I think we have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think we're in wave 5 right now, which is going to go into the probably 225 to 250 range, guys. I mean, look at your chart.
Yeah.
We hit around 205, 210 here. I think we're going 225, 250 short term for Solana right now, and it's currently 198. So it might go up 20 or 30% in value here, folks.
Yeah.
Just right now leading up to the halving event.
So again, we mentioned before, like we have a lot of people reaching out to us. Hey, I got into Solana here. I'm super excited. Like I want to sell. And you can sell some, you can lock some profits in, but based on, a lot of the indicators that Mikey was sharing there, we feel that it can still go higher. And if you're confused by a lot of what you're seeing on the charts, that stuff you don't kind of just pick it up like right away. You just kind of need to practice it. So a lot of that stuff is what Mikey goes into more detail on the weekend course that's coming up, where there's tons of analysis around charting and patterns and understanding where to draw the lines and how that kind of plays into short-term trends and helping you with your entry point and your exit point, and like knowing when to get out. Like, just remember, like, what you have now is paper gains. It's not your money until you sell. So it's one thing to know how to get in, and like, we're in this euphoria right now. We're all making money, hopefully. But you also need to have a strategy on when to get out. So very, very important. So when are the courses here, Mikey?
So we've got the online training course happening next weekend, folks, April 6th weekend. Don't delay if you're interested. We already have a bunch of people that have signed up. One of Mike's friends just signed up. I've got two or three people that are on the verge of signing up.
Yeah,
And
I got another guy who's
um,
interested too.
yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be almost like a one-on-one course. I mean, maybe we'll have 10 or 12 people. We'll see how many we get. And I'm gonna give you a lot of personal attention, and we're gonna have 5 follow-up sessions for 1 hour after the course. Everything will be recorded so you can rewatch it. And the Mexico one's coming up May 4th weekend. You want to come and enjoy tacos and enjoy Mexico while training with us?
Oh
And also,
yeah.
we're going to be able to expose you to some real estate stuff we're doing too.
Yeah.
But if you want to do the easy version, do the online one. It's coming up next week. You're going to learn how I do my chart analysis. You're going to learn about my cryptocurrency strategies. You're going to learn about all of the fundamental analyses and the macroeconomics I do. And I'm going to give you all of my trade secrets, all of my strategies, and we're going to teach you exactly how to draw the charts like me.
Yeah.
So, um,
So you're getting our knowledge on here, but with the course, there's a lot more like hand holding, and like you can ask questions along the way. And then
yeah.
having those follow-up sessions is gold, because now you get to take what you just learned on the weekend and actually start applying it, and have us available where you can reach out and ask us questions along the way. So that's awesome. So I wanted to share real quick. So let's segue a little bit here into um, SBF. So SBF is Sam Bankman-Fried. He's the
Oh
dude
boy.
who ran a company called FTX. So this was a crypto exchange. And if you're new to crypto, he did some nefarious things that he shouldn't have. He got a little greedy, and he finally got sentenced. I can't believe it's only 25 years. You know, he did some pretty major things. So
He's like
anyways, this is,
The Bernie Madoff of cryptos.
yeah. So um so there's some fallout of when business goes down. FTX actually owns some assets, and when this got announced, people were going to lose money as part of this. But luckily for the people that had money with FTX, they're actually going to be made whole, probably, which is really cool, which doesn't happen often. And the reason for that is because, conveniently, the market has done amazing since this happened. And the assets that FTX owned, now they get to sell them for a multiple. Like, one of their biggest holdings, and great segue from Solana, was SBF, was very bullish on Solana. So Solana actually took a major hit during this, because
Yeah.
they called it the Sam coin. Solana's coin was the Sam coin. So it got dragged down with this news. But if you were a believer in Solana and you knew the technology was actually good,
Yeah.
you could have got Solana at like a massive discount. Like, I think Solana ended up on that massive downturn, made it down to like $8.
It
I
was
didn't get
260. It was 260 and it went to like 8 or 10 bucks.
260 and went down to $8. Mikey and I didn't get it at 8, but I know my first purchase, I think, back was around 1850, which again was more than a double from 8. And this is a
Yeah.
lesson where you're not always going to hit the bottom, right? And you're not ever going to hit the top when it's time to sell. And we're going to share more around sell strategies another time in a separate video. But this is closure. This gets rid of another bad thing that gets put towards crypto. So he's gone. Now we can move on. And the markets have done phenomenal since then. So I just kind of wanted to share a little bit around that. And the assets are being sold off and people are being made whole, which is really, really cool to see. So that's good old SBF. Now, did you want to hop on a couple more charts here? We got a couple more things to get to, and then we'll wrap it up. So Jupiter.
Sure.
Jupiter is one that Mikey and I have been invested in. Jupiter is part of the Solana ecosystem. So usually when Solana runs, coins within the ecosystem, if they're good, tend to run even in multiples compared to Solana. So we buy some of the, we own a good chunk of Solana, but we also own coins within the Solana ecosystem because those one tend to run faster. So Jupiter is called a decentralized exchange. So you get to, it's just another way for you to buy your cryptos. Mikey curses a lot at them. He's not a fan. He's not a fan of them. But again, like anything, like when you start to use things more, like he calls things stupid all the time. And I agree, some things are stupid. You know, we're not going to talk too much about memes on this, but stupid things can run too. And sometimes things are stupid until you better understand them.
You know what? It's the frustration because, sometimes your car doesn't work and you don't know how to fix it, right? But you still love your car, but you get mad at the damn thing, right? Maybe you kick the tires, you start swearing
Yeah.
because your car won't turn on, but you still love your car. It's a good vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So, the exchanges are very valuable, awesome tools, but sometimes they frustrate you, right? And especially
Yeah.
when it's new,
Yeah.
and you're not used to it. Like if you buy a new car, you might not know how to put the fog lights on or the whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's
new. You're
frustrating
gonna
at first, and just, yeah, understand that the tools, they're still being built out. And
yeah,
remember the internet before Netscape, remember the internet before AOL and before browsers and email clients. So we're
for
still in the
sure.
building phase and things are still different. So you're learning new things and the tools are still kind of clunky. So
So
what's going on with
I'll show
Jupiter?
you guys the chart, and I'll very quickly do this, Mike. So I have on
Yeah.
screen the website for Jupiter. Okay, so this is jupe.ag, and basically you need a wallet with different companies like MetaMask or whatever companies that you want to use online. The decentralized exchanges that you can connect to it,
Yeah.
and this is where you go. This is like going to the grocery store to buy your cereal and bananas. You're buying your cryptos here, and if you go here, you see that you could select which you want to convert Solana that you own, and you want to buy maybe PIF, or you want to buy whatever it is, right? You can buy Jupe,
Oh, whiff. How
right?
about whiff? Let's go
Let's
whiff in there.
let's stick
We
with
got
Jupe here.
that.
The
Yeah.
dogs without hats. I don't know about that one, but Jupe. So if you're gonna buy Jupe, what you're buying is you're kind of buying the eBay of cryptos, right? You can go on eBay and buy rookie cards. Well, you can go on Jupiter and buy cryptos.
Yeah.
And so you can actually, if you own Bitcoin or Solana or different things, you can convert them into Jupe, which is the Jupiter website. They
Yeah.
have a crypto that represents this exchange for where you can go purchase cryptos. Okay. And if you go to the Jupe chart here, Mike, I don't know if you're noticing, but as we're talking, Jupe is trying to break out again right now. Okay. So
Plus 6%. Nice.
I have
Yeah.
this red resistance line on the screen. You see it's up over 6% today.
Yeah.
Yesterday it says it was up 8%, but it was up here at one point. Look at
Oh,
that.
that was a massive day.
There
Yeah,
was
I
a
think that
little
was like
flare signal.
22%.
So if you go over
Oh,
here, it was up 36% at one point in the day. And sometimes what
bottom of
happens
the
is
top. Yeah.
this is a little signal saying, hey, we're about to shoot this higher. And then all of a sudden they bring it back down over here. Well, now
Yeah.
we're moving higher. And I think this is going to keep going here over $2. Okay.
Yeah. And this is
Um,
this is in green territory now. We're at all-time high for
yeah,
Jupiter. So Mikey and I believe in the Solana ecosystem. So we start to play in coins
exactly.
that are within that system. And coins that tend to do well are these decentralized exchanges. So this one's being used a lot, and we can see that with on-chain data. So these are indicators that help us know what types of projects we should get into various ecosystems.
And I want to point out too that this only came into existence in January of this year. And
Yeah.
Jupiter was an exchange website that said, hey, why don't we make a crypto to represent our website? And the better we do, the better the crypto does. And if a lot of people believe in using our exchange, they will invest in our crypto. And that's what we're doing. Me and Mike have used Jupiter to buy cryptos, and we like that one. We're not just using Coinbase or
Yeah,
whatnot.
and let me hop in here. And there's what's really cool about crypto is that you get bonuses and rewards. So if you think like banks, they give you a bonus on your interest. It's hardly considered a bonus. You get like 6 cents to hold thousands of dollars in your account. Whereas when you're using these platforms and these tools, the more you use them, you get bonuses along the way. You get these things called airdrops, and the more and more you use the system, the more that these things can accrue. And there's ways that you can like stake your coins. We'll get into that in more detail, but there's ways to even further leverage the gains you get. So that's awesome. Did you want to talk real quick?
One other thing to mention, with these exchanges, people might be thinking, well, why don't I just use Coinbase? Well, it's kind of like Coke and Pepsi. Not every convenience store carries both. Some of them, if you go to a baseball stadium, you can only get Pepsi or you can only get Coca-Cola. So depending on what you want to buy, you might have to go to Jupiter. You might have to go to Uniswap. You can't use
That's when I
Coinbase.
get a call from Mikey. It's
Yeah,
like,
and then I
dude,
get
I
mad.
can't buy this on my exchange. Walk me through this stupid
And
platform.
he's been, Mike's been very helpful at getting me to get used to this stuff. But even here locally, like there's a certain kind of iced tea that I like, okay? And I can't get it at certain convenience stores. And then sometimes you'll find another convenience store that has it, but they don't have the peach flavor I like. It's kind of like a crypto. You got to find the right exchange, the
Yeah,
same way I have to find the right convenience store for my iced tea. And I got
yeah,
to walk over to that one. Well,
yeah,
you got to go over to a certain website to buy certain cryptos.
yeah. Cool. All right, bring up a chart of Doge real quick. So Doge is
Yeah.
one of the OG meme coins. So this one was around during the last cycle. And what's cool about this is we get to learn from it. Whether you love meme coins or not, they move. We think that they can be stupid, but stupid still can make you money, and it's in the top 10 in coins with market
Yeah.
cap. So show us what you're seeing real quick there. So again, Doge is kind of the OG. Doge is kind of like the Bitcoin of memes. So chances are when Doge moves, it's going to push some of the memes in other ecosystems, like your old favorite dog with hat and a whole bunch of others. So what's going on with Doge?
So, one of my favorite movies is Forrest Gump, and Tom Hanks, great actor. It's one of the best movies ever made, I think, best scripts ever. And, in the movie, there was a lot of mean people calling him stupid or dumb, right? And, you could have looked at him, and a lot of people said he'll never be worth anything, he'll never accomplish anything. In the movie, he becomes a football star. He's the best player on the team. He becomes a fisherman. He outfishes big shipping rigs. And he makes all of these accomplishments, even though people were calling him stupid. And stupid is as stupid does, as he said, right? Like, and with cryptos, you can call these things stupid, but if they're performing, I don't care what you think, right? And at the end of the day, with Dogecoin, it's not something I'm putting most of my money into,
Right.
but I'm putting a little bit of my money into it, and I'm putting some in Jupiter, and I'm putting some in Pith. I'm putting some into a lot of these little ones, and I have most of my money in Solana and Near and Render and other ones that I believe have AI technology or speed or different things that are more important than
Yeah.
Doge. Okay. So you spread your bets out. And let's just go look at the screen here. I love the Banter Bubbles website, guys. If you're not using it yet, check it out. Just ignore the dogs with hats portion.
You
Um,
can. It's the biggest one on there.
it's the biggest one. Um, so you'll see the dogs with hat here, the bubble right there. It's doing really
Yeah, I
well,
see it.
right? This is actually the best one on the screen, core.
I don't even know that
And
one. Yeah.
so there's a bunch of them doing well. But I mean, if you look here, you'll see Dogecoin right there up about 27% for the week. You'll notice I'm on the weekly view up here.
Yeah.
So, why have we been paying attention to Doge lately? I mean, what was it, Mike, a week ago? Maybe I told people, I said, I'm buying Doge. I think it's going to rip higher soon
Yeah.
because of the charts. And now it's one of the best performing cryptos. So
Yeah.
let's go to the chart here. I was calling a buy signal on Doge somewhere back here. Okay, somewhere around here. I said, guys, we've broken out of this downtrend on your screen here. We're turning around and going higher. And that's exactly what we did. So although, again, chart analysis is not correct 100% of the time, look at all the examples we're showing you here, right? Where it is
Yeah.
correct. Now, what else did I point out with Doge? Okay, look at the black line on my screen. That's old chart analysis when I was pointing out that we were in wave 4 and about to go into wave 5. Okay, now it's really important to notice that if you look at your screen here, I'm just going to drag it over a little bit. We're now in wave 5, folks. Look at that. Now we're in wave 5. And, here's Mike showing you that we were sitting here in wave 4. And then I said, hey, I'm buying Doge right here. And now it's going up into wave 5. That's not an accident. We're not lucky. It's a skill set. And again, this is stuff that I go
Just
over in the
luck,
training
Mike.
course.
Just admit it.
Um,
You just get lucky over and over again.
over and
You're
over. Like
very, very lucky fella.
I told my buddy that called me Lucky. I said, I go, if I buy a boat one day, I'm gonna name it Lucky because like we keep getting lucky. But
Yeah.
again, there it is. I was predicting wave 5 coming, and it's
Yeah.
not that I'm so smart or that I'm so special. There are other people in the world that do this too, but most people don't know how to do this. And that's
Yeah.
why me and Mike are providing education. We're doing the training course coming up, and we want to teach people how we're doing this. How many times, Mike, in the past few months have I said, hey, we're in wave 4, wave 5's coming, and then we get it? That's
Yeah.
happened like 100 times in the past few months.
So when he's talking
And
about these waves, so this is Elliott wave theory, and this is
yes,
one thing Mike is going to cover in more detail in the course. So Elliott waves has 5 waves, and they just tend to work. So it's just one of the indicators we use. It doesn't mean that it's guaranteed that based on those waves things are going to happen. But when we line up multiple things, it gives us more conviction. It takes us from 80% confident to 85% to 90%. And then when there's 90 or 95% confidence, then we up our bags. We're putting even more money in at that time. So,
exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're getting close to the end here. We actually had a couple of questions from the community. So again, engage in the content, subscribe, like, turn notifications on. When you do, you tell the algorithm that you like our stuff. And when you like our stuff, it's also going to show you other people's content that is similar to that stuff. And share with others. Put your questions below. So we had a couple questions come in. One was from my friend Joa. She asked how to transfer local iTrade into international wallets. So iTrade, if I'm understanding what she's talking about. So Scotia is a platform. It's a bank here in Canada that has a trading platform called iTrade. So this is where you trade stocks. And in order for you to move those stocks somewhere else, if I'm understanding her question correctly, when she's talking about international wallets, it means having it outside of the jurisdiction of where you are. So there's stocks and then there's cryptos. So there's exchanges and then there's separate wallets. So I hold some of my stocks in my iTrade account. If I wanted to move some things from my iTrade account to, say, a crypto wallet, you would have to sell in your iTrade account. Now you have cash. And then the fun task of now moving from iTrade to, and this is where I'll hop on a call with Mike and probably curse with him for a little bit and ranting how it's not a fun process to wait for your money to go from a bank, because they don't want you to take your money out. They'll put your money in there quick. They won't ask you any questions. it's instant. But when you want to take your money out, they don't like that. And they'll put up roadblocks, unfortunately. And it is what it is. So then you need to work towards doing a transfer from your bank account to your exchange account. Your exchange account in crypto can be like a Kraken, it can be like a Coinbase. And then from there, the money is now in the crypto system. And then you can start buying and selling tokens within the exchange. And then you can set up wallets. They're called non-custodial wallets, the MetaMasks and the Phantoms, and we can do a separate video on that. And again, like if you have questions around this, like it's not something that we can go into like massive detail on here, but that's kind of the quick version of how to get money out of your stock trading account into crypto and into these non-custodial wallets. So
one thing to mention there for Joa too, like, I mean, this process might take you a week or two. Okay. It's going to take you a little while.
yeah.
And, you know, that's the way it works with banks. So one week I'll be complaining to Mike that I don't understand decentralized exchanges and swearing at them. And then Mike will call me and be like, these effing banks. And like, we're going back and forth about these systems. But with Joa, who asked the question, probably going to take you a couple weeks to complete this and get your money over to Coinbase or whatever. Okay. Now, this past week, as Mike knows, and I told some of my friends this, I sent money from one exchange, or sorry, from one of my wallets to another one of my crypto wallets. Okay. And my money got there in like 10 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of 2 weeks to go through the banking system, it took like 10 seconds for me to go from one of my crypto wallets to another completely different company.
How much did it cost you?
I don't even remember, but it was like $8. Like it was
yeah.
nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
And it happened like that. Like I refreshed my screen, boom, the money's there.
Well, I remember you and I were on a call one time and I was sending you some coins and you weren't super familiar with the system much. And I'm like, yeah, you should probably see it in the next little bit. And I didn't even finish my sentence. And you're like, dude, like it's here already.
Right
I'm
away.
like, welcome to crypto. Like this is why we're so bullish on this technology. So we got one more question. This one's from another Mike, who's a friend of the channel. You can help answer this one. So he said, indicators for the peak of the bull run and what's next. So we kind of touched on, some of the indicators that we use here, but I think what he's getting at is how much more life do we have left in this? Just real quick, kind of the indicators that you're using, and yeah, where are we heading? I know we're going to go in more detail on this in the course next week, but yeah, just throw out real quick what you see in the next little bit and what are your favorite indicators.
Yeah, so thanks for the question. This is Mike B. He actually just signed up for the course and he's really excited to learn all of the charting and everything. So, here's what I would say. And I mean, we're going to get into this in great detail in the course if you're watching here, Mike B. And right now, I've been saying to people for weeks now that we're in the third inning. And back in January, I said we're in the second inning. The baseball game's got 9 innings. We have a long ways to go. Now, to answer your concerns, maybe, right? Because a lot of people don't want to be caught in the next big crash. I believe that we're in the third of 9 innings, and the big crash is a long time away, where we're going to have a correction in cryptos. But, if we have a black swan event, right? If we have interest rates go up all of a sudden, if we have Larry Fink go on TV saying, I sold all my Bitcoin, I hate Bitcoin. If you have a war, if you have a pandemic, if you have any of these type of things happen, then obviously not just cryptos, but stocks and everything can go down. Gold, everything goes down. It's not a crypto crash, it's an everything crash. But if you're looking at a crypto crash, which happened in 2017, 18, it happened in 2021, 22, kind of happens every 4 years, right? We're just getting started. We got a long ways to go. Remember, they still have to lower interest rates for the next 2 years. They're still printing money and raising the debt during those next 2 years. Larry Fink and all the ETFs still have to buy more Bitcoin in the next 2 years. And we don't even have people with the fear of missing out. That's happening in the next 2
and
years.
election.
and the election, the US election's coming. Like, I don't love Trump or Biden, but if Biden wins, he's going to spend to make people happy. If Trump wins, he's going to spend to make people happy. The debt's going to go up, the interest rates are going to come down, and Bitcoin and stocks are going to go up, and the
Yeah.
US dollar is going to come down.
And
So,
Mikey's not making this stuff up. Again, we're leveraging the past to see what happened during previous elections, during previous Bitcoin
yeah,
halvings, during what happens when interest rates lower, what happens when they print money. All these things trigger something. So when all those things happen, they're more likely to
yeah.
move a price up or move a price down.
And part of the course too, I mean, one of the books I read in 2006, which was my foundation for all of my long-term fundamentals, taught me about the presidential cycle. Go Google the presidential cycle. What happened in 2016 when Trump came into power? Massive bull run all the way to 2020. Then we had the COVID drop. Biden got elected. What happened in 2020? Massive bull run.
Yeah.
And that bull run would have continued if they didn't raise the rates. You know, when they raise the rates, they raise
Yeah.
the rates. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's the black swan. Like,
Yeah.
raising the rates could be a black swan. The China trade war could be a black swan. If that happens, me and Michael come on the video and we'll say, hey, we're now bearish. And we weren't doing these videos in 2022, but in my Invest Like Mike group, I publicly told people they're raising rates, it's over. And
Yeah.
that's okay. But right now we are bullish. If we change our opinion, we'll let you know.
Yeah. So Joa, Mike B, thanks for popping in. Thanks for asking questions. And the invite is open to everyone. Toss your comments below, engage, like, comment, share. We appreciate you. Again, disclaimer, what we shared here, not financial advice, just two dudes, just two mics on here sharing our opinions on things. You take that with how you will. So thanks for sharing, Mikey. We appreciate everyone. And that's all for today. See you. Bye-bye.
Take care.